Hi everyone, it's Erin from EB Mixed Media. It's been a long time since I've made a video. I gotta confess, I have been in a bit of a slump since I finished the 100-day project back in June. I had a very busy summer with work. I was working pretty much full time. And then in August, late August, I had two back-to-back trips, one for pleasure and then one for work. And then I had company descend upon the house, and I've just kind of been recovering now from just a wild month or so. And I'm struggling to get upstairs and do things. So anyway, I thought one thing I have done is completed another one of my square craft journals. These are disc bound journals that you can get from Joggles. You can get the kit, which includes the discs and the cardstock. It comes in a lot of different sizes and colors, so you're not limited to craft or to square. But I love working in the square, and I love doing these mini collages. And I've got several of these. So I tend to make, I don't know, 12 or 15 maybe pages, and then call it done, and then I make a cover for them. This one I used, these discs are from Happy Planner. So you can get discs elsewhere. But anyway, so it's time to make another journal cover, and I've made them before. So I hope you're not too bored with me doing this, but I'm going to try and do a little bit something different this time. And what I wanted to do, and the reason my desk here looks so messy, is I always use butcher paper to cover my desk. And I buy it in these big rolls. This roll was massive, and I'm starting to get down to the end of it. And that is what I cover my desk in. So you could get this in an art store, but you could also get it in a restaurant supply store. You can get them online. And you can get it in craft or white or whatever. So I keep these when I make a mess. And this was cleaning off a brayer or something. I don't know what that was from. So you can see I'm starting to get a mess here. And usually I replace them when I do a video, so they're nice and pristine, but I decided to keep this so you can sort of see how it starts to build up. And I just keep big pieces. Oh, so that's kind of a cool piece there, and that's why I kept it. But you can even see here where my pen was messing up. I've got notes for myself, 6 by 9 by whatever. So it's just a mess. And I hold on to these, right? Because I think they're fun. This is cool. And that's why I kept it. And then some of them, like, they're not great, but there's sections that are maybe great. So I keep those. That's not even great, but there's a part, so I've cut it up just to look through some of these. And then I like to try and turn them into something usable, some kind of page, painted paper that looks really cool and fun. This is kind of nice. So some of them, you know, there's not much to them, but it seems like a waste of paper to just throw them away. So what I thought I would do is take one of these, whichever one I decide, which I'm trying to remember which one I just looked at that I liked. And I'm going to try and make it into something that I can then cover my journal with. Okay? So that is what I'm going to try to do. So let's work with this one. I mostly did this journal over the summer. So for example, this one I made for Care December. This one I think I was doing spring into summer maybe. I didn't really go with a theme on this one, but this was last fall. So I went with kind of a fall cover. So I thought maybe I would try to pull some colors that are a little more summery. All right, so how do you take something that looks like this and turn it into something amazing? I am going to start with some watercolor. So let me get those out. So these are my Hitoto watercolors. This is a set of 24 tubes, and I'm going to start with this. And I'm just going to try something slightly nutty, and that would be, this is Pale Rose Blush. What's this one? Chinese white. These are all out of order. Let's do a little bit of orange. And you know what I'm going to do, if I can get it open? I'm going to just put it on here. I don't know. Why not try that? Let's see what happens. we can't wreck this, right? It's garbage to begin with, so we can't wreck it. Let's just fill in some of the whites that we're seeing here. And now I'm going to try this Pale Rose blush. Just put that right down. Oh, that's really kind of a peach. I was expecting a pink. Pale Rose blush. I missed that whole spot. Okay. I've got some old water over here. We'll just move this over and where'd it go? I want to get some pink though, so let's find some real pink. How about this? Except I'm trying to avoid this color scheme, and that's where I'm headed. I wanted it to be a lot more, I don't know. This looks fall to me, or it looks more, I don't know what it looks like. All right, I'm gonna lighten this up by adding some gesso, and I'm just gonna throw it down here. There's a lot of water on here, and that works for me. You can do a couple things. You can get a brush and sort of move that around like so. Or you can sort of move your fingers around. So you can see in the background now, all that stamping and stuff that was there is sort of peeking through, and it's kind of interesting. I'm gonna lighten this up. Just keep spreading out, it doesn't matter. Is this gonna turn into anything? We'll see. Can't wreck it though, right? It's scrap paper to begin with. All right, let's try this. It's mostly dry, and I thought what I might do is use some of these homemade stamps that I've made, and I thought I'd even show you how I made these. Do I have another one? Yeah, that one. Yeah. So these stamps are made with cardboard and sticky back foam. And sticky back foam is something you can find in the kind of children's crafts aisle of your craft store or art store. And it's kind of this foam stuff. You can get it without the backing, but I like the sticky back because for some reason glue doesn't work really well with this foam stuff, I've discovered. Oops, I got some paint on there. This is dry-ish. So I thought I would show you how I make these. It is so easy. So here I've got a piece of cardboard. I'm just going to go in here and cut this into, let's do kind of a, actually you could just rip it. It doesn't have to be, that's good enough. You can use a utility knife if you want with this. Might work better. This was a piece of cardboard I clearly used for something else, and it's kind of bent there, so let's go ahead and cut it further, okay? And then for the foam, you can make any kind of design on here, and I was thinking just maybe doing some organic shapes like this maybe. I'm going way too big, but that's okay. I'll cut this in half. And I'm just gonna cut out these shapes. And you can make them anything you want. You could do little hearts. You could do stars. just organic kind of patterns. Whatever suits your mood or the effect you're trying to achieve. I wouldn't have even needed to draw this. I could have just free-formed these, no problem. I'm going to try to get 3 of them on here. And 1 more. There we go. And this is it. It's that simple. Easy, easy peasy. Take this one. This just peels off and sticks on. We can trim that off if we want. Couldn't be simpler. Very cheap way to make some fun stamps. Okay. And then what I do, and I'm trying to think of what color, I kind of want to get some of that turquoise back. That these kind of look like waves. So I'm just going to plop some down over here. Get my brush that I was using earlier and just paint this on. You could use a roller too if you wanted to do that. There, and it's not going to be a perfect stamp, but it's great for backgrounds. And depending on what you're using it on, I find it builds up a little better when you get some paint on it. Sometimes you can get a nice crisp stamp, but we can go here and, oops, that one had a lot of paint on it. And I smudged it. There, that's a pretty good one. Kind of liking the blue. So that just gives you an idea of how these can work. I know this looks like a hot mess. This is one of those trust the process kind of things, right? I'm just going to keep building some layers here. I'd like to get some green in, I think. So let's see. I'm kind of maybe some leaves because I'm thinking summer, right? So this is one that's sort of like a leaf pattern. I'll just put that on. I find these work well on tissue paper. They're also great on the gel plate. And what I think is fun about using this paper is it's a great time to experiment maybe with supplies you don't use or haven't used in a long time, or have never used, because you can't really mess this up. So I'm liking the black in here, and this is starting to feel grungy to me. So I think I want to lean into that grunge. I've got this cool stamp here, or stencil rather. This is from Dina Marissa. I use a lot of her stencils in my work. She's got an Etsy shop, super fun stuff. And I think I'm going to put this on in black. All right, so I'm just going to put bits of this around and we'll see how it looks. I'll link to Dina down in the description box. And see, you can't even really tell that those are letters, but I think that's okay. there you can kind of make out that S. Do a little more here. Maybe a bit in here. Whoops, I moved my stencil. That's all right. This is just a cool background. All right. All right, I'm liking this. It's starting to really look kind of cool. This is one of my favorite of my sticky back foam. So I think I'm gonna do this in white. So again, I'm gonna throw some paint down here. Get my brush, and let's just see how this goes. I may pick up some of that black, and that might not be cool, but we'll try it anyway. Oops, I didn't get enough on there. Oh, and I just pulled some green from somewhere. I'm liking the grunge factor on this a lot. Whoops. All right. Liking that. I'm feeling splatters now. So get this nice and wet. Put this around. Okay, and let's do a little black as well. Oh, we're really amping up the grunge. I think this is fun. I am gonna dry that now so I don't smear those splatters. All right, let's see. I'm gonna grab a black pen. Do I want this one? Sure, why not? I love to circle these. Again, it's another grunge factor. I'm not really careful with it. I just love the look of this. Go around it maybe more than once. Now, a lot of times too with Dina's stencil or any lettering stencil really, and you know how I love to have gold in my work, I love to outline the letters. It's time consuming. Actually, I'm going around and outlining the black, but that's sort of getting you the letters outlined. And it's just sort of a fun effect to bring some glam in and kind of highlight some of these shapes. And it's the negative shapes that I'm highlighting here with the pen. And it's time consuming, so, and it's not really necessary. It could be something you want to do after you put the paper into your final art piece, because who knows what's even going to show. So I'm spending a lot of time doing it and it might not even show up. I feel like this is in a good place. I think this would make a really cool journal cover. So I think I'm going to stop. But it's dawning on me now. I only made enough space for the front and the back, but I didn't think of the inside covers here. So I think I need to do another one, and that's okay because this was super fun. So what I'll do is I'll put some music on and have it go a little bit quicker. So for this one, I decided to go a little more muted since it's going to be the inside cover. Oh, my hands, look at that. Since it's going to be the inside cover, I decided I didn't really want it to compete with the first page of the journal because it would be opposite that page. So I decided to keep it a little more neutral and not have as much black and stuff like that. So it'll just fade in a little bit better. Okay, so it's time to make our journal cover. You've seen me do this before. This journal is a 6x6 square. So I need a box that's at least 6x6. And this one is just 6 inches. So I don't think I'm going to use that one for this because I tend to screw up a lot and need some extra stuff. And this one is like 6 1/4. So I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to start just by taking it apart. There we go. And then I am going to get my paper cutter. All right, so let's start with like feeding this through here. My awful, not awful, it's not awful, it works, but I don't care for this paper cutter. Someday, maybe I'll get a new one. And we'll cut off these flaps. So all I have to do now is pick some spots that I like, which I'm liking this, and I'm liking that. So I just have to cut. And glue this on. And I can use a couple different things. I'm gonna use probably my art glitter glue, which I kind of think I'm running out of. But I think it holds a little bit better. All right, so then to punch this so that it hinges, I have this Happy Planner punch. You don't need to have a special punch. I've demonstrated this before, but I'm happy to do it again if this is your first time seeing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and punch this here to kind of cover up where I didn't quite get my paper down. And I just want to, I'm going to pull one of these off and put it down here just so I kind of am sure where this goes. So, okay. Oh no, I forgot to do this side. You know what? It just occurred to me these are white. I could leave them. I completely forgot about it. All right, let's do that. Now I'll show you, since I messed up this one, I'll show you if you don't have one of those Happy Planner punches, how easy this is to create these. What you would want to do is if you've got the notched page, you would go through and mark those out on your paper. And then you use a hole punch. There we go. And you're just going to punch a hole right where, I don't want to put this, try and feed this back in, so I'm showing you here, but you'll punch a hole right where your notch is, right? Right where you've left your mark, rather. And then you're going to take a pair of scissors and cut that channel out. And that will just hook right on to your discs. And you've got the same effect. You can see it there much better as if you punched with the punch. So I'll finish this up real quick. So we're going to put that on here. And then this one goes here. And now I have to come up with something for the cover. So to finish this off, I always like to keep this kind of simple. there's a lot going on in the background. It's pretty cool paper, so let's not cover it up. I have had this floral in my stash forever. This is the Summer Bloom, which fits with my summer theme, from my Fabulous Florals stamp collection, which is available at Joggles. And I did this using white embossing powder on a black cardstock. And I think it kind of fits the grungy theme that we're going for here. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that down, maybe like so. I don't do grunge a lot, and I really love it. I don't know why I've kind of gotten away from it. I used to do a fair bit more of it. I think it can be really fun. And I sort of like that stark contrast there. I think that looks good. Just trim this. And then I've got a sticker here. Here it is. Creativity takes courage. It takes a lot to put yourself out there on the page and to let other people see it and to kind of make it pop a little more. I'm going to put some black around the edge so that it's like a drop shadow. Yeah, just one more. The splatters are here, but I want a little more, and I want it to pop a little more. They've kind of faded out a bit or something. They're not as bold. So I'm just gonna put a few more. I can see where maybe when I dried them, they ran. And I want that contrast of the white. So we can just even add a few more here and there. I'm kind of just going over where I can see splatters. Okay. That's it. And that's my summer collage journal, and I will plan on doing a flip through next. Thanks everyone. That's it for me today. Hopefully I'll be back again soon with another video, and hopefully you'll see me more on Instagram as well. I'm at EB Mixed Media, EB_Mixed Media. Thanks all. Bye.